Today we're talking all things Argentina. If you're moving to Argentina or if you're traveling to Argentina, this video is just gonna make your life a lot more easier. These are tips and tricks I picked up over the last 6 months. And I'm also just gonna share my experiences and my thoughts on living in Argentina. What I'll do is I'll put on the screen some of the phrases. I'll put on the screen some of the phrases that will help you guys. See, by the end of this video, I'm really gonna get you guys ready to succeed as a foreigner traveling to Argentina or moving to Argentina. I got you, okay? Welcome back, you guys. Today we are talking about all things Argentina, okay? I did live in Argentina for the last 6 months. Since last month, I lived in Argentina. I can't believe I don't live there anymore. It's kind of crazy to like say that out loud. I feel like saying that out loud right now kind of makes it feel more real. Like, it's been 2 weeks. It's only been 2 weeks. That's crazy. Like, what a life to live. I feel so grateful. When I first got there, I definitely had culture shock. I had culture shock for a variety of reasons. And so in today's video, I'm gonna try and ease any potential culture shock that you might experience if you're traveling to Argentina, if you're moving to Argentina. Watch this video to the end so you can get all the tips and tricks on making your life easier as a foreigner navigating Argentina. The first thing I'm gonna cover is outlets in Argentina. You will need a converter. The type of charger they use in Argentina is a Type-C charger. You're gonna need a power adapter if you wanna use normal things like your charger, hair dryer, hair straightener, whatever it is that you use. I have a universal charger, so it just has a lot of different types of plugs on there, so I didn't have any trouble with that. Argentina is how you pronounce the country, Argentina. But if you're from the United States, like I am, you're gonna hear it usually pronounced as Argentina. Like in any country, you go to that country and you're gonna hear the way that is really pronounced. And then you go in the United States and you're gonna hear the watered down, English version of that country. So Argentina, that was something I did enjoy, is learning how to pronounce it correctly. Living there for 6 months, I definitely got the little Argentina. I did say that I was in Argentina for 6 months, okay? Medio año. The reason I lived in Argentina for 6 months was to learn Spanish, and that I did. That was one of the reasons I actually had culture shock when I first got there, is because Argentina, or at least Buenos Aires, is known as having a lot of English speakers. Although there are English speakers in Buenos Aires, if you are traveling to Argentina or any country in South America, you need to have a basic understanding of Spanish. It will make your life so much easier and it will really help to alleviate a lot of the culture shock. You can really alleviate a lot of that by just knowing basic Spanish, like hola. You get there and you start saying hi, people are gonna look at you crazy because people aren't just speaking English on a regular basis there. People are speaking English if they speak English. They come across someone who speaks English, but that's not an everyday thing. Depending on where you live, is really not an everyday thing. Even living in Palermo, which is like the most international area of Buenos Aires, there were plenty of people when I would go out who did not speak English, whether it was working at the store or just walking on the street. There are plenty of people who only speak Espanol. So if you need directions, if you need help, or if someone's just trying to help you, whatever it is, you're going to need a basic level of Espanol. Even if it's you just saying, I speak English, not Spanish, you need to be able to convey that in Espanol. Saying, I don't speak Spanish in English, they're not gonna understand you, and it's just gonna add to your culture shock. So I definitely recommend understanding a basic level of Espanol. Have some fun. If you're gonna go to Argentina, if you're gonna live there, if you're gonna travel there, and you really want to experience the culture, you really want to experience the Argentinian culture for what it really is, learn some basic Spanish. An easy and exciting way to do that is Duolingo. I really enjoy using Duolingo because it honestly feels like you're playing a game. Because it really is, it's an app and it feels like you're playing a game, but you're literally learning a new language. I've learned so much Spanish since using Duolingo, and what I like about using Duolingo is that you're not only learning how to articulate, how to hear Spanish, you're also learning how to write and read it. So that's very useful because in Argentina, there's gonna be plenty of places you go where the meanings are only in Spanish, or just the signs, the direction signs are only in Espanol. So you're gonna need to understand a basic level. So even if you only know, hi, my name is Christy, hola, me llamo Christy, hola, me llamo Christy. Yo hablo español un poquito, pero yo estudio más español todos los días. hi, my name is Christy. I only know a bit of Spanish, but I'm learning more Spanish every day. Even saying that, it really, if the other person even has, another thing is that even if people do speak English, a lot of people, they don't speak English every day. It's not an everyday occurrence. This is a Spanish-speaking country in Argentina. So even if they do have a basic level of English, the same way that you might have a basic level of Espanol, by you having the courage to use a little bit of Spanish you have, it also encourages them and helps them to feel comfortable using a little bit of English they have. So I really feel like speaking a little bit of Spanish really just helps you to have a better experience, both for yourself and for the Argentinian locals, for you guys living in Argentina, and for those of you who rarely speak English. I know seeing someone try to speak the Spanish that they have makes you feel more comfortable trying to speak the English that you have. So that definitely contributed to the culture shock I had, simply because when I first got there, I could not, I don't know, I took Spanish in high school 3 years. I took Spanish 1 year in middle school. I took Spanish 3 years in high school. I took it 1 year in college. And with all of that, I really had no concept of conversational Espanol. I could read a little bit, barely a little bit, but being able to comprehend when someone speaks to me, it was terrible. When I first got there, I really struggled. And traveling, being someone who lives abroad, I've been living abroad for a year, I definitely, under normal circumstances, would have prepared with Duolingo, understanding more Spanish before I got there. But since I was in Asia, up until the day I went to Argentina, I had spent in Asia, so I feel like I wasn't learning. I just didn't think in my head to start learning Spanish while I was in a Chinese-speaking country. While I was in a Thai-speaking country, I didn't think to learn Spanish. But if I would have taken the time to prepare, that definitely would have helped me. I think another thing that contributed to my culture shock is that being in Asia, like being in Thailand, being in Japan, in the Philippines, I would say that they speak more English than they do in Argentina. So, and what I mean by that is you're gonna come across more people who, their first language may not be English, but they speak English more often. So when you come across and you have a question or you need some help and you speak to them in English, their brain can understand a little bit or switch to English much easier. People are not gonna give you a weird look. I feel like in Argentina, another thing that added to my culture shock was the looks. I feel like when I would speak English, it would be like a confusion look or just whatever. It was like a look that would just make me feel very uncomfortable. It just made me feel so nervous. It made me feel less comfortable speaking my Spanish. Like what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I need a smile. Okay, a smile is welcoming for me. Like, a smile is welcoming. But if you're speaking in a foreign language, people's first impression is not usually to smile. Some people, when they're confused, they smile. A lot of people do not smile when they're confused. So learn that basic level of Spanish. I'm really pressing that because I need to get that across to you guys. Learn some basic Spanish. You'll do a great job with Duolingo because it'll teach you exactly what you need to know from basic level and on, okay? What I'll do is I'll put on the screen some of the phrases. That will help you guys. See, by the end of this video, I'm really gonna get you guys ready to succeed as a foreigner traveling to Argentina or moving to Argentina. I got you, okay? We already talked about the outlets. We already talked about learning basic Espanol in order to help you alleviate a little bit of the culture shock that you are gonna experience. I definitely experienced culture shock when I first got there. Okay, so getting to Argentina, you're gonna need to get around. So there's a couple of ways that you can get around. Like most big cities, they do have a train system. I really like the train system. It's very affordable and it really can take you all over. The only thing about the train system that you need to understand is that if you are claustrophobic, you're probably not gonna like the train system, because when I say it gets full, it gets full. It gets full. And I feel like many places are like that. You get on that train and it's gonna be packed. I'm talking, if you sit down on the train, or the bus is the same way. If you sit down on the train, you're gonna be sitting next to someone else, okay? If you get on and it's empty, you got lucky. I'm telling you, within 3 to 4 stops, that train is gonna be packed. If you do have a backpack or you have a purse, make sure that you move the purse your backpack to the front of you, when you get onto the train, even just at the train station, even just walking around the city, you will see people doing that a lot. You'll see people wearing their backpacks in the front of them, or their purses. They'll make sure that the purse is in front of them. Make sure you do that, because pickpocketing does happen a lot at the train station. It happens a lot on the train. It happens a lot around the city in general. Pickpocketing is something that does happen around Buenos Aires. So make sure you just have an awareness of your belongings. So getting back on track about the subte train, the subway station or the subway train in Buenos Aires is called the sube. So sube, in order to use the train, you're gonna need a sube card. You can't just go to the train station and give them cash and get on, or just give them cash and get a ticket. If you do go there and you try to get a ticket, what they're gonna give you is a sube card. And so you gotta be careful about the sube card, because not every train station sells the sube card. You can refill your card at every station, and there's plenty of stores where you can refill your sube card. So as I was saying, the sube card, you won't be able to buy the actual card everywhere, but it's pretty easy to find one. A lot of stores actually sell sube cards. So when you're walking throughout the city, you'll see a lot of stores with the sign sube in the window. And so you can just walk into the store and then just ask if they have the sube card. If they don't have the sube card, when you are ready to get onto the sube, just go to a sube station and just ask them if they sell the sube card. And if they don't sell the sube card, and also ask them the closest store where you can buy one. It's the same thing for a store. So most of the stores, you'll see the sube sign in the window. So you can just go in there, you can ask them if they sell the card. If they don't sell the card and they just put money on cards, you can just ask them what is the closest store where I can buy a sube card, because they will know. Okay, so if you're not using the sube card, another means of transportation is going to be using the bus. The bus, I really like the bus. I would say in comparison, what I use the most, I definitely use the bus the most, because the bus was just so close to where I lived. There's so many bus stations all over the city. There's train stations all over the city too, but it just so happened that where I was at, the bus station was literally 1 minute walk. The closest bus station was 1 minute walk. Depending on the line or which bus you're going to be catching, you might have to walk a little bit further, but typically regardless of where you are, you can go onto Google Maps and search in where you need to go, and the closest bus station, or the closest bus station or bus stop will literally be like a 5 minute, 7 minute walk. 7 minutes is like the furthest I think I've ever had to walk to a bus stop. For the bus, you need to make sure, again, the bus is going to require the sube card. And the thing about the bus that is different that I didn't know myself is that if you do see your bus coming, you need to put your hand up and you need to wave. Like, you need to wave like this. Like, don't feel crazy. You can just put your hand up. Don't feel crazy, because you're going to see everyone else waving their hand as well, because they want the bus to stop. One thing about the buses in Argentina is that they won't stop for you. If you don't make it clear that you need them to stop, that you're trying to get on that bus, they will not stop. They will pass you up. Buses have passed me up so many times. I've seen buses pass up people for so many times. Like, sometimes I don't know why they passed up. Like, there's been times where it was me, a bunch of people were just standing there waiting for the bus, got our hands up, the bus just kept going. Maybe it was because it was full, I don't know. A reason for that is because many of the bus stops, more than one bus stops at that one station or that one stop. So if you are not making it clear, like, I'm talking about this bus I'm getting on, yeah, they'll keep going. You gotta let them know. Number two, when you get onto the bus, you have to make sure that you tell them both the main street you're getting on and the cross street. I did not know that. If you just get on and you tell them the main street that you're going to get off on, they're going to charge you for the furthest stop on that road. So, for example, say I'm getting off on Godoy Cruz. Godoy Cruz is going to have multiple stops. So if I just say Godoy Cruz, they're not going to know where I'm going to stop. They're going to charge me for the furthest stop on that one street. So yeah, make sure you see the cross street and the main street. If you really are struggling to pronounce the name of the street, then you can just show them your phone and then they'll charge you. You're going to tap your card on the little sube sign, just tap it on there. Yeah, you don't even tap it, you're just going to press it on there, and then until you hear a beep, and then you can take it off. And then another thing is just make sure you get onto the bus in the front of the bus by the driver, because again, you have to tell the driver where you're getting off and they'll charge you based on what street you're getting off. I want to make sure I mention that, because like in San Francisco, for example, you could get on in the front, you get on in the back, whichever door you get on, and then you can scan your card regardless of the door you get on. In Argentina, make sure you get on in the front. And the bus will be full. I'm just gonna let you know, my suggestion is make sure that you get a seat on the bus, because it's gonna get full and the streets are bumpy. That's one thing, the streets are so bumpy out there, and the drivers, they be on a mission trying to get you to where you're trying to go. So make sure that you get a seat. If it is really full when you get on and there's no seat, as soon as you see a seat, I suggest you get the seat. Yes, you're gonna have to sit next to someone. Even if you get on and you're not sitting next to someone, I guarantee 9.9 times out of 10, by the time you get off, someone did sit next to you, because the buses always get full. Just public transportation in general, people utilize public transportation. People really utilize like public space. So the bus, the train, like parks, just like open spaces. That's one thing I really did like about Argentina, is just how people utilize like public services. They utilize public spaces. So yeah, today I'm going to be covering just things that are important to know that will make your life easier, and there's things that I also think are very interesting. One thing I thought was very interesting is that in Argentina, when it rains, it tends to rain at night. I was there for all of summer, all of spring, and then I was in Argentina for half of the summer. So I left January 30th, so half of the summer, about half of the summer mark. So I thought it was very interesting, because when it would rain, it would only rain at night. Most of the time, it would rain at night. Or when it does start raining, if it's been sunny or it just hasn't been rainy much, and then we have a rainy day, usually the rainy day tends to start at night, which I find that very convenient. Go ahead and rain and downpour while I'm in the bed and I don't have anywhere to go. I think that's very convenient. It's interesting because when it does start raining, it really rains. I feel like when it rains out there, it pours. Like, sure, some days you might get a little bit of drizzle, but like typically when it rains, it pours. There were many nights where I would just get woken up in the middle of the night because it was raining so hard, and the rain tends to come along with thunderstorms, thunder and lightning. So yeah, that's also contributes to why I would get woken up in the middle of the night. But the rain tends to be paired with thunderstorms, and the rain tends to really downpour. So I don't know exactly what the summer rain is going to be like, but if you are going out there, if you plan on going during summer, you should know that it tends, from what I read, it rains more during summer season than it does during winter season. The weather is honestly very pleasant. From when I was doing my research, it was saying that the winters are very mild. So yeah, at least for where I was in Buenos Aires, because I know Argentina is a huge country, so I can't speak on the weather in all the places, but in Buenos Aires, the winter was very mild. When it did rain, it tended to rain at night. We still got some summer, not summer, but we did get some like sunny days in wintertime, but it was cold. It was very cold in Buenos Aires during wintertime. It was cold. In fact, coming from Asia and then going to Argentina, I had some warm clothes because I knew I was going during wintertime and that it got cold. So I brought some warm clothes a bit, but I definitely was not I did not have the right clothes. Like, you're gonna need a real jacket. Like, this is not like a Southern California winter time where you can get by with a nice little jacket, like a nice little like cardigan or something. No, you're gonna need an actual thick jacket if you want to be comfortable during winter in Argentina. So like I was saying, coming to Argentina, learning Spanish definitely helped me to feel more comfortable. In general, I can't speak for everyone, but in Argentina, for the most part, people tend to look the same. Like, I feel like in Argentina, you don't get a lot of melanated people. You don't get a lot of black people. I'm not gonna say that there's no black people in Argentina, simply because I did not see all of Argentina. I was in Buenos Aires, which is like the middle of Argentina. I went to South Argentina, but I didn't go to North Argentina. When I did see another black person, they tend to be like a foreigner. Like, I could tell that they were coming from another country as well. Or if they did look like they may have been a local, then they were very fair skinned. Like, they looked like they were definitely mixed, like a long bloodline of mixture in there, not like a first generation mixed. Like, and also definitely no like deep skin tones like mine, like black, fully black. You can look at me and you know I'm a black person. I did not really see locals looking like that. I really only saw foreigners like that. But I would say out of 6 months living in Argentina, I literally saw less than 20 full melanin black women there. Less than 20 in 6 months there. So that's in Buenos Aires, and I'm also including South Argentina. Yeah, like I said, I cannot include North Argentina because unfortunately I wasn't able to go there this time, but I want to say this time because I definitely want to go back to Argentina. I definitely want to experience Iguazu Falls. Like, I definitely want to experience, all that the country has to offer, and I didn't get to do that this time around. But definitely did not see many black locals. I did not see many black locals from my experience, and if I did, they just did not look like me. Yeah, they were just definitely mixed. It looked like for many generations. With that said, I definitely feel like people did stare a lot. I even got one comment where someone commented and just let me know, like, don't be put off. I forget, maybe I'll find the comment, I'll put on the screen, but I really appreciate that heads up that someone like commented. And that was like one of my first videos, in that they just made sure, like, don't like take it the wrong way or take it physically, like culturally. People will definitely stare at you, and people definitely just stare because no one looked like me. No one had my skin tone like this. No one had their hair like this. They don't dress like me there. I am a foreigner. I'm from another country. So I definitely stood out, and people definitely would stare and notice me. Not everyone, but like a lot of people did stare. And so going into that, talking about did I feel welcomed? I did feel welcome to a point, but I also did not feel welcome. I would say that it was kind of a mix. There were many people who you walk on the street and they would smile, or they see that I'm, speaking barely any Spanish, and then I'm like, but I'm trying to speak Spanish, but clearly I speak English. There were many people who were like very patient or just like very eager to talk to me. There would even be people, I'll just be sitting and they'll just come talk to me. They'll initiate a conversation. At the same time, there were plenty of people who I did not feel welcome by. There's plenty of people who just, maybe they were confused, or maybe they didn't know how to feel. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like people staring, after traveling for a year, I feel like people stare because that's one of the ways that you are engaging with your environment, is taking it in visually, yes. But people can stare for a variety of reasons. People can stare with a welcoming eyes. People can stare with a curiosity eye. People can stare with like a comparison eyes, like they're comparing you, or people can just stare with a look of like hating on you, like they think you know you and they don't know you. You don't know me. Anyway, I feel like if I put it on a scale, I would say I would put it up there with like 50%. The people there gave me like a look that I was not okay with, a look that just made me feel uncomfortable. Like, it was not, you're not my people, like, you're not my people. And then there was another 50% of people who were very welcoming, who, if I had a question, I would feel comfortable talking to you, or, you know what I mean? Or people who just feel comfortable coming to me. Like, there were many days when I would be walking on the street and people would ask me questions too, like, especially staying at the bus stop, people would ask like, oh, when was the last bus? Or just initiating conversation, like, where are you from? Different things like that. But it was definitely like a 50-50 blend of like having positive experiences and also having negative experiences. In comparison, I would say, for example, being in Thailand, it wasn't 50-50. I wasn't having 50% good experiences and 50% bad experiences. I would say in Thailand, for example, I probably had a good experience, maybe like, in my personal experience being there, I had a good experience. In Bangkok, maybe like 90%, 95. It was actually pretty high. Like, I'm trying to make it seem more closer, but like, what I'm trying to say is, like, if you're traveling I can only speak from my perspective as a Black female traveler traveling to Argentina, I definitely had more culture shock as a result of people just giving me weird looks that did not make me feel comfortable like that, or did not make me feel welcome. I've been to plenty of other countries where it was, in Asia, for example, people don't look like me in Asia. Very few people, right, look like me in Asia, but the looks that I would get, you can just tell people's energy. So I would say in Argentina, I did have culture shock with that, dealing with people who gave me looks that just were not welcoming, which is like, look, I know it's interesting that I'm here, or like it's different I know it's different that I'm here, but like, you could be curious, you could initiate a conversation, or you just mind your business. There are also a lot of people who didn't give any looks, who just mind their own business. There's a lot of people who just mind their own business. I'm doing what I do, they do what they do as well. But did I feel comfortable there? I would say I didn't. When I first got there, I didn't feel as comfortable there as I did in many other countries where people did not look like me, where few people looked like me. Elaborating on that, I do feel like I spent most of my time living in Palermo, and then my last month I did spend living in San Telmo, and I had a much better experience in San Telmo. I feel like in San Telmo, people were a lot more welcoming, a lot more like engaging, a lot more like just friendly. I feel like in San Telmo, people were a lot more friendly. I feel like in Palermo, people were a lot more like stone faced, a lot more just like moody, a lot more like stuck up, being honest. That's how I felt in Palermo. Though I did have good experiences in Palermo, I would say I had a much better experience in San Telmo. So if you are thinking about moving to Argentina, if you are thinking about moving to or just visiting San Telmo, I do want to say I think that the neighborhood that you go to, that really plays a part in your experience there. And I really highly recommend San Telmo. I had such a great experience there, and I feel like there, I feel like in San Telmo it was a lot more of like artistically rich. Like when I say that, I mean like there's a lot more of like music, drumming, just art. Like I don't know, I really had a great experience in San Telmo. So shout out to San Telmo. Thank you for showing me a great time. Thank you for giving me a great experience. Also shout out to Palermo, because that is where I learned most of my Espanol. That's where I live most of my time. We're gonna go straight into safety. So safety, I would say Palermo is on a, when I was looking up countries to travel to, I always look up affordable and safety. I'm not willing to sacrifice either one. You can't be too expensive and you can't be dangerous, okay? I feel like in Buenos Aires, I never felt like someone was going to hurt me, but I did always have a lingering feeling of like, I have to be careful. Yeah, I just have to be careful because I never know if someone might try to rob me. I feel like that is it. There's like a lingering feeling in the air of like, someone might be willing to try and play you. They might be willing to try and test you, try to take your phone or take your camera, or just, you know what I mean? Like, I did feel a sense of that a lot more there. And I know that the locals there do too, because a lot of the comments I would get on my videos, people would just make sure that they let me know, like, be careful with your belongings. Like, you know, a lot of locals, which I really appreciate you guys made sure to let me know to be careful with my belongings, and to just be aware of my surroundings, because people do, a lot of robbery does happen there. Fortunately, I was never involved in any experience like that. I never witnessed an experience like that, but I have seen so many people, especially locals. I feel like I've seen more locals talk about it than I've seen foreigners talk about it, which makes sense, because foreigners, you know, if you're traveling there temporarily, or if you're living there temporarily, you're not there as long as someone who lives there, who has a higher chance of experiencing or seeing something like that happen, simply because you're there longer. So I feel like when it comes to safety, I never felt like someone was going to physically hurt me, but I did just feel a sense of like, oh, I have to be on guard. I can't let someone catch me slacking or not paying attention, because someone might try to take advantage of that. Elaborating on that, I did have, when I first went out there, I didn't have any sort of any protection. When I did go back to the United States in September, I did come back with my pepper spray, which I carried in the United States as well. I did keep pepper spray on me when I would, just in general, keeping pepper spray or just something to protect yourself. So when I did go back to Argentina, I actually brought my pepper spray back with me in my check-in luggage. If you put your pepper spray in your carry-on or your purse, they're definitely gonna check that. They're gonna take it. They're gonna take it. But if you put it into your check bag, they won't mess with it. So I did have my pepper spray, and I think that definitely helped me feel a lot more comfortable, a lot more at ease, because I knew if someone tried to try me, that I had something to protect myself. So I feel like having that, then the second half of being in Argentina, I felt a lot more just comfortable going out by myself. I felt a lot more comfortable, like, yeah, I just felt a lot more comfortable. And then because I felt more comfortable, I feel like I was able to just like be a lot more present, a lot more engaged, and like talking to people more. Like, so I definitely feel, and I definitely do recommend, if you do have some type of pepper spray or pocket knife or something, I would say pepper spray, because what I don't like about a pocket knife is that you have to get close to someone, or someone have to get close to you for you to use it. Like with pepper spray, you can still stay at a distance and protect yourself. So I definitely recommend bringing something like that, just to give you that peace of mind, because that definitely contributed to my peace of mind while there. Okay, so while we're on the topic of safety, I will talk about some of the ways that you can help protect yourself, keep your belongings safe. Number one, like I said, is your bags. If you do have any type of bags on you, make sure you keep it in the front of you. You don't have to do it at all times, but at least for me, while traveling, I like to travel with my purse is like a long purse that I can fit over my head. So what I'll do is I'll just put it over, I'll just put it over my head, and I'll have it right here in the front. The purse will just be right here in the front, and I never had any issues with that. And number two, I really suggest never putting your phone on the table. I did hear about a popular scam that happens out there is when, because you will see a lot of people like selling things in Argentina. They'll just be walking around just offering like tissues, socks, whatever it is that they have to sell. You know, people are making money, that's how they'll do it. And so I did hear many times from locals about a popular scam where people will, when they're offering you like, oh, do you want to buy these tissues, they'll put it on the table to tell you if you want it, and then when they pick it up, because you say no, you don't want it, when they pick it up, they pick up your cell phone too. So For me, I never put my phone on the table. If I'm using my phone, I'm using my phone. When I'm not using it, it goes straight into my bag. If I'm not using it, it goes straight into my pocket. Like, honestly, it wouldn't even go in my pocket, it would go straight in my bag. It's not on the table. If it is on the table, my hand's on it and I'm actively using it. So I would say to just be aware of your cell phone. Keep it, if you're not using it, just put it away. Keep your bags inside of you. I don't put my purse down, even if I'm sitting down at a table, if I'm at a restaurant, my purse is physically on me. And if I am carrying, you'll see in my videos, sometimes I'm carrying like one of those mesh bags, it'll be on my lap. If I'm sitting somewhere, it's on my lap. Speaking of scams, I just want to highlight that there really are so many good people in Argentina. I really feel like the amazing people in Argentina is part of what made my experience so great. I think that in any country, there's gonna be people who are gonna try and take advantage of you. There are literally industries in every single country. You can look up any country. Of course, you can't say every country because you can never say ever, but most countries you look it up and there's a popular scam that is going on where people are taking advantage of tourists. There are plenty of tourist scams, taxi scams, there's mini scams that happen all over the world that target people who are traveling. So, Argentina is no different, but I don't want to let that take away from many people who were very welcoming to me, the people who were very kind to me, people who never took advantage or anything like that. There are good people in Argentina. I definitely feel the need to elaborate on how money works in Argentina, because what's interesting about Argentina is that you cannot just get your debit card, get your credit card, and just go to an ATM and pull out cash. You cannot go to an ATM with your credit card and pull out cash. So that makes the money system in Argentina very different and difficult, to be honest. It's a lot more difficult than in other countries. The reason why it's difficult is because I've never been in any country where it was like that before. And what I mean by that is, since I can't go to the ATM, get with my credit card and pull out cash, then there's two ways that you can get cash. You can go to Florida Street. On Florida Street, you'll hear the word cambio. Cambio means exchange. You can give them USD, which is $100. You can only exchange $100, you guys. If you're going to Argentina, make sure you bring cash money made up of $100 bills. If you don't want to do that, if you don't want to go to Florida Street and exchange your money with someone, which I do understand, because there are a lot of people who will try and scam and give fake Argentinian dollars or fake Argentinian pesos in exchange for your USD. At the same time, if you do make friends with locals, if you do make friends with a local there who you can trust, then they can tell you where they go, and then you can exchange money that way. They can take you to their person. They also have delivery cambio or delivery money exchange, which I thought was very cool. I've never experienced that, which is basically, you just have the number of someone who does money exchange, and then they'll have their delivery person come to you wherever you are, and they'll exchange the money for you. And it's legit, that. They have a lot of that. So I actually do have the phone number of someone if anyone is interested or needs a delivery. If you just want to keep it simple and you want the delivery of the exchange money to come to you, you can let me know. You can reach out to me on Instagram. I'll put my Instagram on the screen. Reach out to me on Instagram, and then I can give you the phone number that way. But that's one of the ways, which is the cambio exchange of $100 bills only in exchange for the Argentinian pesos. The way that we utilize the money exchange most in Argentina, what we did was going to Western Union. Western Union is nice because they do, for the most part, they do give a good exchange rate. In fact, the exchange rate at Western Union about 95% of the time, the Western Union exchange rate, they were doing really good. It was actually pretty close, or if not the same as what you could get on the street exchanging money. So what I recommend is going on to Western Union. You have to go to Western Union US and create an account. Western Union US, create an account, and then you send the money to yourself. So you're the sender, and then when you put receiver, you're gonna put yourself. And when you put what type of currency or do you want to pick up, you're gonna put Argentinian pesos. So you're sending USD and you're receiving Argentinian pesos. So what I think is a great idea to do is that when you do need to exchange money, if you are going to do the $100 bills, which I do recommend you bring $100 bills, if you're going to do it that way, go onto the Western Union website and see what is the exchange rate that they're offering. If they're offering, I'll just put a ballpark number out there, say they're saying for 1 USD you can get 1,300 pesos. Then you can go onto Florida Street, or if you met someone who sells actual money, real money that's not fake Argentinian pesos, then you can go to them and see what rate they're offering. So then you can just see who's offering the better rate at that time, and then go to the better option. Go to Western Union if they're offering a better option. Go to the person if they're doing a better option. Okay, so that's how money works in Argentina. Yeah, another thing to mention are the cost of flights in Argentina. Even though Argentina is, as people say, an affordable country, which in many ways it is affordable, one way that is not affordable are the flights. The flights in Argentina are very expensive. In fact, like if you are traveling to Argentina and you want to make it be cost efficient, you need to actually spend time there. Like when I first got there, from Los Angeles to Argentina, I was able to get a round trip for $790 round trip. But that was me booking the flight in Argentina, flying to LAX, Los Angeles, and flying back to Argentina for $790, and that included layovers. When I left Argentina, the cheapest that we were able to find, I think the cheapest was like $700 for one person, or like $600 for one person one way. So the flights get very expensive there. So I just wanted to put that on your radar. Be aware of that. The flights in and out of Argentina are quite expensive. As for apartment hunting in Argentina, you can look for apartments on Facebook, or you can look for apartments on Craigslist. I preferred looking for apartments on Craigslist because on Craigslist the prices were a lot more affordable than on the Facebook groups. So yeah, you can just go onto the Facebook groups. Any country, you just go onto Facebook, type in Argentina apartment rentals, and you can do the same thing for any country. Thailand apartment rentals, Philippines apartment rentals, Japan apartment rentals. I don't know, I never used Craigslist in Japan, so don't quote me on that, okay? But in Argentina, for example, yes, you're gonna find apartments in one way. There's many ways that you can do it. There's also different websites that you can do it. I do remember learning about 2 websites, but I didn't actually end up looking at any, like going in person to look at, or even reaching out to anyone on those websites. But you can speak to a local. I'm sure that they're gonna have their way, even better ways of finding places that are actually affordable. The ways that I did it was Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, but Facebook Marketplace was more expensive simply because it's like they were trying to appeal to the foreigners, so they were purposely making the price higher. On Craigslist, you're gonna get a variety of prices ranging from like $200 and up. A median price would probably be like $500, $550, $600. It really depends on the quality what is the quality of the apartment you're looking for, and that's going to determine the price of the apartment. Because you can get a place that is $250, you can get a place that's $300, but it probably won't have the amenities or may not be as updated as an apartment that is $500 or $600 a month. With that said, the buildings, one of the charms of Argentina is its architecture. So Argentina, I did see a video recently, and the woman, she said it perfectly, how in Argentina you have a sense of nostalgia, which is so true. It's like walking around Argentina, it kind of feels like you went and you're experiencing like a past. It feels like you're experiencing the past. It's very interesting because the buildings were created so long ago in all of these different architectural styles. Is very beautiful. The outside of the building matches the inside of the building. So the building is old, the inside of the building is old. And because of the economy, a lot of people are not updating the inside of the apartments. So if you do want a newer apartment, you're gonna pay a little bit more. If you are paying like a local, like $200, $300 a month, you're gonna be in an apartment that is probably not updated. So to make things easier for you, I feel like grocery shopping in Argentina, on any corner you're gonna find a butcher. On any corner you're gonna find like these like little fruit veggie stores where they just sell fruits and veggies. They tend to have good prices, but if you're looking for like a market that has a variety, so it has your fruits, it has your vegetables, it has your meat, it has like the packaged things you need, it has soap, or all in one place. There are plenty of stores but the stores that I went to, my favorite ended up being Jumbo. which they have multiple jumbos around Buenos Aires. They also have Coto. I did like Coto, but I ended up not shopping there. I did like Coto, but I ended up not shopping there as much as I did at Jumbo. Jumbo, when I went to Jumbo, I was like, I feel like I'm at Walmart right now. It's giving Walmart. I'll list the full list of stores that I tend to go to. Or Dia was also a good one. Outside of Dia, I think it's nice to go. I do feel like it's nice to go to the local fruit stores, veggie stores, local butcher, because then you're supporting the locals. You know, when you go to Jumbo, you're supporting a big, huge, you know, franchise. You know what I'm saying? So like, I enjoyed the interactions that I would have at the smaller local stores. And that's also a great way to practice your Spanish. And they're literally on every corner. So you can literally just go out, see what they're offering, see the price range, see your engagement with the people, with the person that works there, and just decide if that's your store. So while we are on the topic of traveling, living abroad, or just traveling internationally, I definitely want to talk about travel insurance. So the company Safety Wing is the travel/medical insurance that I use while traveling abroad. What I like about Safety Wing is that they offer not just travel insurance, but also emergency medical insurance. So if you have an emergency, like you need to go to the emergency room, or if you need like an emergency evacuation, if there's like a natural disaster, there's a need for emergency evacuation, they cover things like that, which I think is amazing that you can get both in one instead of having to pay for two different coverages. So when it comes to travel insurance is going to cover things like if your phone gets stolen, if your laptop gets stolen, if your flight is delayed and you end up having to book a hotel, they can reimburse you for the hotel. So that's what I like about the travel insurance, medical insurance, and it's all in one. Another thing is that the Safety Wing has very flexible plans. So say you're traveling for 5 months, you can pay, it's a month-to-month membership. So say you're traveling for 5 months, on the 5th month, you can cancel it and you start traveling again in 2 months, and then you can start another plan. So I think that's very convenient, is its flexibility, and you're not locked into a year plan or a 6-month plan. It's really flexible on your lifestyle. And if you're a traveler, you know that you have to be flexible. As a traveler, life is not just set in concrete. So having that flexibility while traveling, genuinely has given me so much peace of mind to know that I have emergency medical insurance / travel insurance while traveling. So if you're interested in travel insurance, make sure you check out the link in the description below. Yeah, one thing I do want to mention in regards to Argentina is the political uncertainty that is happening right now. They did recently elect a new president, or you guys did recently elect a new president in November, and so it hasn't been that long since he's taken office. The plan that he has for his time in office is people use the word radical. I really don't know what the future holds for Argentina in the future. I feel like a lot of locals, I feel like a lot of you guys feel the same way, like you don't know what the future holds in regards to the climate of Argentina, the social climate. Like, what is Argentina going to be like in 10-15 years? It's really hard to say right now. So I do want to put that out there for people who are interested in potentially moving to Argentina. Just have that awareness of like the laws that are in place can change very quickly, and they could impact you as a foreigner. And if you're signed into a 6-month lease, or you're signed into a 1-year lease, you may not be able to leave if you need to. Now, with all of that covered, I do want to talk about one of my favorite things about living in Argentina, which is the Argentinian pride. It's so beautiful to see and experience the Argentinian pride, being proud of where you're from, being proud of your culture. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we're a family over here, and as you see, we learn and we grow together, and I would love for you to be a part of that. If you haven't, make sure you hit that like button. It helps other people find this video. With that said, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.